This is a challenge I designed for myself on Vintage Story. I wanted to try to see how fast I progress and how much I can progress every single day by playing a single day every single day in real life time and in game. The first day of the game, I decided that it wouldn't count as a full day because I wanted the challenge to be midnight to midnight. Unfortunately, I've lost the footage of the very start of the run, so I decided to start recording when I realized that I did. And sadly, when I realized that I lost my footage was already very dark. Also, sadly, I realized that while I was just running around and foraging, getting the basic stuff, getting the baskets and everything else, I sort of did not make an axe and I did not get any torches or fire. So I had to now quite a pickle. I was just moving along. I was pretty damaged. I don't remember exactly how I took all the damage, but I'm gonna assume it was being dumb. And I was in the dark and I was trying to make an axe so I could chop some wood as best I could in the dark. Unfortunately, the game had other plans for me and a bear found me. I did not die. I got hit and the bear seemed to have been pissed at me for a little while more, but he seems to have lost track of me even though I couldn't see jack shit or where I was going. I was completely lost and so was the bear. So thankfully it worked out. I survived an attack by a bear on the dark simply by just being invisible, I guess. Even though this run started off in the wrong foot, I guess I did not give up. I did not want to restart. I did not want to do over, even though through the lost footage and everything else. I did not set my recording device or OBS really properly, and I just wasn't going to have it. While I'm in here, I will talk about the settings this word has. I will talk about the mods this word has more in the future. Right now, I'm just literally trying to get myself out of this bind. I'm doing this voiceover in advance, so I have the full. This is me doing the editing. I already edited the first week together, and this is just me doing a voiceover after the fact. I remember a few things. I don't remember everything. That's the fun of it. When I go back to the recordings, I actually get to see everything that I accomplished that week. It took a whole lot longer than I expected to get this recorded, and I really was maybe even expecting to do more editing, but after seeing the length of those videos, I just decided that I wouldn't do that. If you're wondering what that noise is, I have a mod, and it's about making tools. So you can tinker with your tools. Right now, I'm sharpening my axe with a whetstone. That mod, I thought it looked really cool. You can make a grindstone, you can make whetstones, you can make custom tools, you can use different things for handles, and you can use bindings for your tools as well. I thought it was a really cool mod, so I decided to check it out. Unfortunately, as I'm in the dark and trying to figure out how everything works, right now having a mod that I've never used before also hinders my progress in the game. I have put a lot of hours in this game. I've only played one multiplayer server, a private multiplayer server I play. And in this multiplayer server, we are only 4 people, but it's mostly me and my wife playing on it. We just do everything, and we have, of course, some of the mods I have here, but not all of them. I'm just trying to figure out. And in the dark, I'm still trying to chop up a tree. I'm hoping I don't die. Just trying to keep myself fed so I heal. One of the settings I have in this, I'll talk about some of the settings I have in this world while I try to scramble myself in the dark. I have a little bit of healing a little faster, so 125% healing. I have food spoiling slightly slower, I believe 75%. And I have months are also 30 days, so they are a lot longer. I did the spoiling thing because winter is going to be a lot longer, so I decided to give myself some room to have a chance by setting the spoilage and the healing also to compensate for the fact that I'm single player. I'm also going to be adding some more mods as this playthrough goes. I'm trying to not add or remove mods without needing. I'm going to have to remove a mod soon because there's going to be a crash, and I'm going to have to remove it because it's crashing my game. I can't have. Sadly, it was the mod related to sandwiches. The sandwich mod just crashed my game when I was searching something. And you'll see it later, but I had to remove it so it doesn't make it past day one, unfortunately. So I never get to make a sandwich, which I think is something that they definitely should add, but I finally make fire, a lengthy, hard process to do in completely darkness. And I'm finally ready to continue my journey. My original plan for this was to not set base at all. I wanted to keep moving south until I hit the water, or honestly hit an ocean. I wanted to find the ocean so I could be ready to set up a boat. I should probably have made more of the word an ocean. I think I set it to 90%, which is the default I think is 95%. Oceans are really good because boats are really fast. But I guess I didn't set it enough, and I just kept walking south all day pretty much, gathering whatever I could, getting cattails, making baskets, and I ended up finding a lot of sunflowers, which I never do. It was very rare. I have culinary, in this world I have culinary artillery and expanded foods. They both work very well together, and they're pretty much one mod. Honestly, they should be just one mod, in my opinion. And I just been gathering stuff. I have combat overhaul, so I have the combat overhaul weapons as well. I believe the armory expanded. That's what it's called, with all the maces and all that. So I get scared here because I light up a torch and I thought I'm on fire because it actually put it on my offhand without me noticing. And then when I noticed, I calmed the hell down and sort of missed myself. It's very weird watching yourself play a game. I don't consider myself slow. I mean, even though it's on my name and my handle, like slow bro. I don't consider myself slow in the sense that I feel like I do everything in a decent pace, but after watching myself with my inventories, I feel like I'm babbling through the game. I feel like I'm struggling so much just to keep stuff because I have such limited inventory space, and I keep double guessing myself and everything. I also, you might notice that my character started completely nude. This is because of a mod I have. It's called CAN-classes, or CAN-classes. But after trudging to the dark through the entire day, I finally find some promising spots. I find some cattails and stuff. Nothing too particularly special at first. But as I look in the distance, I spot something else. I spot a ruin, and that's from the mod, probably from the mod BetterRuins, which is also in this playthrough. A very widespread mod used, I believe, so I don't think I have to explain very much. It just puts better ruins and schematics and stuff. I have never seen this ruin before. This is the first time I see this ruin, and from the looks of it, after investigating a little bit, but it seems to be some sort of lumberjack camp. They have axes and stuff. They have a lot of logs. They built those fences, which are really cool. They have a little graveyard here, sadly. You can only imagine what was happening to them. I mean, I guess they did not die all at once if they had time to dig the graves. And we can see a skeleton there. Probably the last one got crushed. Probably his back gave out. I'm not going to notice here, but there's actually a ladder in this room. I'm going to notice that a lot later. And as I am editing this video on the 15th of November, and this was played on the 7th, I believe. So this was the start of the actual first day, and I didn't count the launch day because it didn't start midnight. So this is just me going over it. I see a lot of boxes and all of that's really useful. I decided that I'm going to camp around this base for a little while. I'm just gonna keep myself around this ruin, just get myself situated, make some metal, find some metal tools and stuff like that. And once I'm situated enough, I probably will move. But I want to start around here, and I don't want to use the ruin itself. Call me paranoid, call me religious or whatever. I don't like using ruins as my base. I like building my own. Even though technically I would say building is easily my worst characteristic in this game, but after watching myself play, I'd say inventory management is even worse than my building. Holy moly, I waste so much time managing inventory, throwing things away, picking them up, and putting them other places. I thought it was normal, but after watching this, like, I can't. I kind of hate watching myself in a little bit. Over here, I'm searching for lanterns because I want to check if I had installed the more lanterns mod, which I did not. So I then find medieval lanterns or paper lead lanterns that I wanted, and then the game crashed while I was searching for things. So unfortunately, I realized by the log that it was the sandwich mod causing the crash. So I removed it before it happened again, and I just fire back up. I'm back where I was, and I had to do something, a remapping or something. I don't remember if I added the lanterns right away or if I added it later, but I definitely added the more lanterns mod. And over here I noticed that I find my first piece of actual clothing. Because of the mod I have canclasses, you are locked as a commoner. Sadly, you do not pick the commoner class, which means the character doesn't actually get to be a commoner in the normal sense. I don't get the commoner clothes at all, so I just started completely naked. I think that's oversight, and the mods should probably fix that when making a new character. This place kind of feels like a labyrinth with all the goings ups and down ladders and stuff. I feel a little overwhelmed, even though it's so small technically. It feels like I'm going up and down those ladders, trying to check everything and trying to manage my inventory. It's a lot of stuff going on at once. Right now, I haven't even picked where I wanted to be. I'm looking around, checking the everything around me, and as I go downstairs, I found something truly outrageous. I found boards. I realized, well, I have access to boards really early in the game, and instead of taking them, I decided against it. I am going to take those boards after I actually make a saw. I decided against this, not because of pride or anything, I just kind of wanted to experience the game a little bit before I actually just have boards. So I decided to leave them behind. I know there's more boards, I found them later, and there's more spots that I haven't been on. But as I'm just exploring right now, I'm trying to see everything on those boxes and all whatnot. And I still, again, haven't even picked where I want my base to be. So I decided around here, but around here is not much of a location. I have to actually go and build something, and I am losing a lot of time. Even though I'm full inventory, I should probably be moving my ass a little faster to decide where the hell I want to spend the night at, and that's going to come bite me in the ass too, as you will soon see. Deciding I have had enough of this, I decided to go check out the nearby area, and I find some food. Except I'm really bad at the throwing thing. The wolf doesn't really stand up much of a chance, thankfully. I'm used to the combat of the game by now. Wolves kill me a lot of times online. I feel like there's a little bit of more of a lag switch online and stuff. Speaking of lag switch, I lag a little over there. But most of the time, wolves are not that big of a danger. They're not that threatening. I am completely on the nude though, so I will take full damage from them. As I'm looking around, I know wolves don't usually hunt on their own, so I found the other wolf. I don't remember if I killed the female or the male first. I wasn't really paying attention, but I found another one. I noticed that there's a little one too. And one thing I don't notice while I'm playing, if you pay attention, you can hear the bees over there. There's a few bees nearby, and I will notice that way later. Actually, I only noticed that after while I was editing the video. So I started editing this video, by the way, way earlier. Like, I didn't start today on the 15th. I started editing this video on the 12th or the 13th. I think it was the 12th, and I honestly did not expect. This is mostly a project I do while I have some time to myself, just to amuse myself. There's nothing really to it. I spent some time looking around for a better spot to build a base, and it's just something I can do. It takes like an hour for a day in Vintage Story. If this is your first time seeing anything about Vintage Story, welcome. You probably have compared this game to Minecraft already in your head, and while you are seeing a lot of things that look like Minecraft, you can also see a lot of things that don't look or feel like Minecraft. This game is primarily focusing on survival. This game, and if you're new to Vintage Story and you've never played the game before, or you tried the game and you're very confused and you found this and you decided to check it out, welcome as well. I am picking places right now, and I decided this spot, I don't know why this spot, but I decided this spot is good. I want to be near this source of water because I know I can easily make a farm just using the water that's already here. I don't need a bucket or anything to move it. I also decide this spot, even though all the peat is here, which I will be digging it up a little bit later. Well, I have access to easy peat, which is good for cooking. I don't have to use firewood. And peat is useful for a lot of things. You'll also gather peat a lot faster than gather firewood, if you ask me. Firewood feels like you need it for charcoal so much, and I'll be doing that way later. And I found clay nearby as well, a little bit to the north on that lake you can see on the map, or a little pond. I don't know if you call it a lake. There's some clay in there, so in between those two lakes there's a lot of clay, and I just get a nice spot. Clay is, if you are not used to this game, clay is a very big step from the Stone Age. At first you have to gather flints to make your tools, and you just gather sticks to make handles and things like that. The mod's gonna change that a little. Don't worry about it. It will come up when you see it come up. I will show it to you. I'll highlight it. I'll talk about it a little more. But this is just a nice spot. It has a lot of resources that I want early on. It has animals around. I don't like the wolves, but I mean the wolves are going to just die. I just kill the wolves, get their meat. It's actually even nicer that I can get their meat easily. Right now, I'm just focusing on, again, the basic survival. The first few things that are the most important: shelter, food, and shelter and food. First of all, the first two things you need to survive the nights in games like this. I tried to find the wolf. I actually lost sight of it. I don't know where the wolf is, and I'll find them later. I suppose I just at the time I was worried about other things, so the other wolf just kind of was like not priority, right? I didn't exactly remember where they were. I just kind of stumbled upon them later, even though I was searching for them. Not much luck there. I decided to engage a little more with this craft. I have a thing called napping, or napper or whatever it was, and it allows me to just hold a button to complete those without me having to worry. While it's very useful for flint, it's not very useful for clay. You see how slow it is when I start working with clay. I'll probably be doing clay mostly by hand, but just the fact that I have a thing that lets me craft stuff with flint, I just have to hold the button, is very useful. Right now, I am exploring the mod a little bit. I'm like, how do I make handles and how does it work and everything, and I'm very, very confused still. So you can't just put the first I have to figure out how do I make the handle, and I'm seeing that those things now tell a lot of items in the game have now tell you that they would make a good handle for a tool, and they also make a good binding for a tool. It's just a line that they have, and then they tell you how much they would increase the durability and everything. I make a few handles, and then after I make them, I try to craft a tool the usual way you'd craft a tool, right? You put after I make way too many handles, by the way. I shouldn't have done that. I made too many. And then I have the tool in my hand, and this is the tool head. You make the tool head out of the flint itself. I try to see if they stack. They don't stack, but you can put 4 in one square. So I make two little lines just because I didn't really have any slots. I made some chests out of reed, but I still don't have a lot of slots. Inventory space is at the worst in here, and I'm trying and failing to do a good job and not wasting too much time on inventory. So like I said, if you are watching this and you facepalm me and you trust me, I facepalm a lot harder. So I tried to put the handle with the shovel, and I was like, well, that doesn't work. I can make the basic. I can do it the default way. They don't disable the default way. You can just put a stick in there and work, but the handle actually doesn't work. So I'm like, what's going on? And then it's like, you have to put it on your offhand, hold right click, and that combines the two items, but does not steal a shovel. It needs to be bound together somehow. So you can pick your binding. It doesn't necessarily need a binding. You can just right click it again and it would complete, which I believe is what I do. But for a binding, you can use something like dry grass or the cattails. You can use rope cordage, which is from survival mod. All of those work just fine. If you use dry grass, I believe you don't actually get any benefits from what I see. Like, you don't get any boosts from durability or anything. You can just use it. And for a lot of the early game, I'm going to be using dry grass, even though I don't feel like there's any benefit to doing that. But dry grass is really easy to get. I just cut down grass, so it's not really a big issue. But using cordage is definitely one of the best things early on, or one of the easiest early on, because it takes very few cattails to do, which you need a lot of cattails early on, so that's a huge downside. But if you just don't care, you just want to use the normal tools that you normally do, you just right click it, and when the binding or the handle break, the tool doesn't come apart. You can keep still using the head. You just need to get another binding and another handle too. That's the advantage of this mod. Every single tool lasts a whole lot longer because the head has a lot more durability than the vanilla ones, and when they break, they don't completely break. The handle breaks, the binding breaks, so you can still use everything that didn't break. You can still use it to remake the tool. You just have to replace the part that broke. What it means in practice is that the bindings on my tools are going to break first. Then always the binding is going to break first, which I just have to rebound it. A lot of times the binding and the thing break together. I don't know how this guy spawned. It was so light outside. He just kind of spawned right in front of me for no reason. I guess this is time to talk about another setting that I have that is not default. I have my rifts, my temporal rifts, which are the portals you see, where those guys usually spawn around. Those are not disabled, but they are invisible, so I cannot see where they are. Now, if you never play with it like this, and I thought so as well, when I saw the setting, I thought, well, if they are invisible, when you walk into one of those rifts normally, you lose a lot of your temporal stability or your sanity or whatever. Right now, I'm just trying to build a base. I'm digging and doing stuff to try to build, and if you expect any great builder here, look away. I am an awful builder. I like trying to build my own space and everything, but I am awful at building. I'm trying to be symmetrical and everything. I wanted to make a big base and all that, but as you will soon see, that's not gonna happen. Because I, as the idiot I am, started way too late. So now the enemies are just coming out, and I have to build something while the enemies are coming at me. There's probably a portal nearby that I cannot see, which doesn't help. It doesn't help that it's not a calm day, but I should have definitely set up a place for me to stay before all of this started happening. So I have to struggle to get myself situated. My torches went out because of the rain, and now I have a lot of trouble. I don't have light. I'm trying to build. Thankfully, I can get a good amount of building in before I'm harassed again by another thing. I tried the pikes, and I ended up eventually losing them, I believe, or something. Because I wanted to see. I'm very bad at the throwing weapon thing. I don't get it at all. I'm trying to aim higher than I need to, because I keep trying to predict like the projectile like trajectory and stuff, but it never works. If you are new to the game and you want to learn how to use the projectile weapons, don't look at what I'm doing. Instead, if you aim your reticule, like the aim on the enemy, it would usually hit if you release it when you're looking at the enemy. It would usually hit if you're just chasing it or running away from it or just near enough you, so you don't have to overcompensate on anything. Just kind of aim directly at the enemy, you have better results. Trust me, because you will see me being very bad at doing this. And I have to fight for my goddamn life over here. Like, there's so many enemies spawning in a row. I'm just fighting. I'm just trying to keep myself alive. After surviving the first night, which was quite a miracle, it was very impressed that I have not died in this run so far. And I'm trying my best to keep it that way. But there's so many enemies. I'm thinking, oh my god, if I die, I'm gonna be in the dark and it's gonna suck ass. So I am. Well, you're not completely on the dark when you die. In this game, after you respawn, you actually do get a little bit of light. Your character gives a little bit of light to help you out. I don't know if it's just to help you out. I know the lore. The character is not human. Otherwise, you wouldn't have respawning and stuff like that. Your character is what they call a seraphim. And the fact that you can respawn has to do with the fact that you are not from this timeline, or rather you're not from this time. So time fuckery is going around, and you're trying your best to get back or get situated. You're just kind of on the wilds and surviving right now. I get my fire situated, and I'm just hiding behind this wall, hanging near it for dear life, because that guy is just pelleting arrows on me. If you're also from Minecraft, you might notice that the mobs are very familiar somewhat. You have your basic little guy that just walks at you, that's the zombie. You have the creepy crawling, that's the spider. And you have the arrow guy, which is the skeleton. So, if it's not obvious, this game was based in Minecraft, but it's not exactly Minecraft, and it's very different. I make myself those wedge cakes, or whatever they call. they are very useful as an early alternative to the door. There's another early alternative to the door, the one that can break, has a 50% chance to break every time we interact with it. I just prefer to just, you know, craft that because it's not gonna break. I can do it without a board, and it just takes a few sticks. Very useful. It can also function as an early window. Very good for that. The downside is those fences do not enclose spaces. So this game actually has bonuses for being inside a closed room. Namely, it protects you from the cold temperatures, and it also makes your food spoil less when you are in a closed room. So right now, this is still considered an open space because instead of having solid walls and insulated walls, really, I have those fences for the door, and that's okay. I don't really need this space to be isolated. I just need it to be safe right now. I have another mod called BetterFirepit, and all it does is, instead of when I cook something on the fire, instead of having to wait for it to heat up, I can get it. It keeps the heat and starts cooking right away, which I think it should be how it works. There's another one that tries to take the stack size. I just think it's very similar that you put 10 meat, and then it goes, the meat that's cooking goes all the way to 200, and then the other ones start from 0. Like, that doesn't make any sense for me. I dig down. I need some more building blocks, and I make a little basic house. I check out how to make some more windows. I actually am so focused on everything I'm doing that I don't even realize that I have already hit midnight. So the right thing to be doing here would be to end the run. I should just quit the game right now, but I don't even notice it, and I'm so preoccupied with just making this little shelter right now that I end up going way overshooting. It's already 30 minutes in game that passed, and then I realized, and then when I finally realized, and I decided to end it for the day. So you also have the ability to see my real time on that clock in game. And yes, I played this mostly on the mornings, either around 7 to 9 a.m. is usually when I'm playing this game, or rather this challenge, because it's a little bit of time that I have to myself, and I just thought, you know, might as well do something like that. So if you want to check all the settings that I changed, you can pause the video here. It has all the settings there. Anything that is not the default value is there. One of the things you will notice is that I disable temple storms. And I disable temple storms because they take a long time, and if they happen, I'm pretty much dedicating a whole day to watching the temple storm go by. I did not want to do that, so I did temple storms at disable. I'm sorry if that disappoints you. I'm sorry if you heard the challenge of me doing one day at a time and thought it would be funny if I get a day where I just have the temple storms. But I decided that would suck ass, and I took it away. At first I was going to just reduce it, but then I decided I was going to disable it altogether. So on the second day, I am also using a mod called SpawnHighlight or something like that. You can just see where enemies can spawn by pressing the button. Right now I'm just lighting up the base, and still just working it, making the basement a little better. It still sucks ass, and it's still gonna suck ass for a little bit. I wait until the day is light enough outside so I can go. There's another particleplus. With my multiplayer server, I use particleplus to locate mostly metallic meteoric iron, and I was also the guy that usually has to go get clay. So having the clay highlighted because I could use specifically colored clay for stuff like blue clay. I was searching for hours some other day. Real life hours the other day. I couldn't find any because I just used all the blue clay around me. I go outside, finally kill the guy harassing me. And then I hear these I get some of the clay, and then I realize that I don't remember how to use it, and you actually have to select the autofill mode, and this is how fast the autofill mode is, right? It's not very fast at all. It's actually pretty slow. I can use settings, like I can use console settings to do it, but like look how much faster duplicating a layer is compared to autofilling it, right? Of course, the autofilling can just easily do everything correctly. I don't have to worry about it. Meanwhile, this is a lot more complicated and slower. So for playing, most of the time I'm going to be doing either duplicate layer or doing it manually because this is just too fucking slow. Like, look how slow that is compared to me just doing it manually. I can, something like that is way too easy. I just go to the 3x3, and even this is even faster than duplicating it, to be honest. Like, I just easy peasy. I make some niceties. Basically, when you first starting working with clay, the two things you want the most first are the cooking pot and the bowl, so you can eat out of it. So you do both of those. I'm using the mod CarryOn. With the mod CarryOn, I can actually carry things on my back and in my hands. So things like the baskets that have items inside of them, so long as I keep holding them, I don't have to empty them and break them and carry them, and it's a lot more convenient. I lose a lot of move speed though, so I decided to get some feed as well because I'm going to be firing up. If you don't know anything about clay working in this game, you have to make the items and then you have to cook them, because obviously raw clay is still soft clay. You were using it with your hands because it's soft. So after you cook them, you can actually use those items for their functions. And the first one I want is a cooking pot and a bowl. Cooking things in this game makes them give a lot more food value and sometimes even last longer. So in general, eating meals is a lot better than just eating raw food and raw berries. Right now, I actually don't want to eat anything I have because I'm going to be cooking it soon, and as such, I'm just kind of saving it. I'm just kind of holding it. I want to use it on my meals, and I don't want to eat it. I actually find the wolf. Just randomly found the wolf. Thankfully, nothing bad happened. I'm struggling with the two mod a little bit. They're breaking, and I'm a little bit lost. I'm making some fire pits for my clay. I put them over down here. There's one extra bowl because I made 4 bowls and just one pot, cooking pot. So I'm gonna have to make more cooking pots later anyway. I should probably just only made 4 cooking pots. But right now I'm just trying to get the basics. So I didn't need 4 cooking pots right now, and so I didn't make 4 cooking pots right now. I only needed the one. And then I come and dig out some more peat. The pit will be used to be mostly cooking my meals and cooking my clay. It's just a fire source. I also realized that I need to make backpacks, so I take the leather, the animal hides I have, and I put them down after oiling them up with fat. After a couple hours, in real life hours, and pretty much one in-game day, they will dry out and they will become pelts. And those pelts can be made into the basic hunter backpack, which is a big upgrade because I get more inventory space, so I can have more inventory problems with more inventory space. Isn't that great? But after putting the dry grass, the sticks, and the fuel, which can be firewood or peat, in this case I use peat, you can fire them up, and now you just have to wait for them to burn up. I also use this opportunity to get my torch back. It's always worth carrying a torch with you if you can. but as it's been raining, I can't really use that as a source. I'm just going out and foraging again. Foraging is always nice. You find more seeds, you find more food. Basically, early on, you start in spring and you get a lot of food or something. As I was foraging, I noticed that I finally found some medium quality soil. That's great because all the soil around me over there is low quality or low fertility soil, I should say. I don't know, I say quality. And low fertility soil, it's a lot harder to farm on. I don't even know if you can farm on it, but I don't even want to try. I just went for the medium one and to make a farmland, so I can actually start farming. I also got some earthworms. Earthworms are really useful because you can just drop them on your farm and they will slowly but surely increase your things. As I'm running back, I actually find a wolf. He gets a good hit on me. He gets another good hit on me. I almost died to a wolf. Very embarrassing. So I chase him down. And then the wolf, rather than give me the satisfaction of dying by my hand, decides to jump in a cave. I thought he would have died there from the fall damage, but he didn't. And then he just went to the hole, and I would not follow him. I also noticed that by my house there is this hole. I don't know what is that over there. I tried to figure out, but I don't want to go down there. And there's a fox just running around. Well, this fox is completely stuck. And I thought that this was a great inspiration and decided, you know what, maybe I should make my own little pit so I can try to trap animals. Maybe I can trap something that will help me out, and I just decided to just craft my own hole. This way the animals that fall in here, they have a lot of ways to get inside, but they have no way to get outside. So I can keep them to myself, and I can either kill them easily or maybe even raise them from there if I can get a male and a female. Right now though, they're not very protected. A bear falls in there, they will die instantly. Fox gets in there, they'll kill them, or anything, a wolf. So they're just there to if you know, it's just possibly if something happens, if I get lucky I can get. Also, I decide to use the remaining daylight I have to dig around the lake and to put some of the medium soil, the medium fertility soil I found, so I can start actually farming. The earlier I start farming, the sooner I will get, the sooner I will get my food and situated, and I will get flax and all that stuff situated as well. So right now I'm just trying to get my farm. I'm still very much struggling with food. I'm trying to not eat as much as I can. I try to eat just as much as I need to stay alive, so I don't waste potential meals into just lower quality or lower satisfaction food. And I come back here and I till the soil with the hoe, and after doing all of that, if you're new to Vintage Story, it actually cares of what type of protein or vitamin your soil takes or your crops take. So you actually want to just diversify or rotate your crops so in a way that they don't eat up all the potassium or the calcium or whatever from the soil. You want to do crops that take different things. Right now I have a lot of sunflower, so I just decided to plant some as much as I can, and some I decided to make myself a watering can, but I actually don't think I ever end up using it. I'm just gonna have it though, so it's there if I want to use it. I guess I should bring up should comment on canclasses. Canclasses is a mod that gives you commoner, but the commoner can eventually improve class by little by little in different things. So you eventually get to be like a hunter and everything, like you get all of the things associated with it. It's not exactly the vanilla hunter, and by now the second day is coming to a close, so I am calling it quit for the second day after just doing some basic keep. I come back the next day, and once again there's the settings of the world if you want to give it a check. As I loaded the game, also I'm not obviously not loading that fast. I'm editing a lot of content because otherwise this video, who I already feel is very lengthy, would be even lengthier, and I don't think you want to watch me load the game, you know. It's a very difficult exercise on what I feel like you guys need to see or would you want to see, or really even what I want to see, because this is more for me, it's not really for anyone else to watch. I think it's important you always make your content, that's my philosophy, something I would watch, and if it's not something I would watch by making. I can hear stuff outside, the nighttime is very dangerous right now. I'm just waiting for it to be a little better, trying to get some stuff, and nope, still not allowed. That too many enemies outside. I don't want to look at that. Synchronized. So I decided to just use the clay I have, just make some more stuff. I make a pickaxe mold, which I will be used to make my first pickaxe once I get copper. I also need obviously to cook it. And I cut out like a couple hours worth of this inventory management. I make myself an axe, I believe. Not still the shovel. And once again, I'm using the grass, but I don't think there's any benefit to using the dry grass. Probably that better than using nothing, but it still is nothing to worry home about. I decided to just hit here and sharpen my tools while I'm in it. Sharpening your tools makes everything else just take less damage. If your tools are dull, and your bindings and your handle takes way more damage when you use them. And considering those are the things that break the most often, it's actually worth keeping it sharp. Sharpening your tool actually deals damage to it. It deals damage to the head part, which is the one that has a lot more durability. So it's a worth trade-off to just use a little bit of that too, so you don't, you don't hurt the durability of the tool. You actually last longer, way longer, to just keep it sharp. There's actually a little bit of a bonus to use speed as well if you keep it sharp. So today, I woke up and I decided that I haven't done a lot of exploring the last day. First day I did a lot of exploring and I set up a basic base. The second day I was just doing mostly things about the base, things that I'm going to need, setting up the boring parts, like the getting the clay, getting some clay things, the fire, and getting the farm going. This day I decided that I'm going to go exploring again, and once again I have the mod to do that. That's the key for play. I disabled that eventually for a lot of things. I don't need that mod to be doing that all the time just when I'm searching for stuff. Pig sneaks up on me. I heard it, but I heard the baby, but I did not see the parents. And I'm really happy to be fighting these things. They're not that dangerous. Even though I almost fucking died, like a moron. I missed that. And again, like I said, stop trying to overcompensate it. Just the same straight at the enemy. And you hit it. And if he comes, stop me from carving that one. I chase it. You see, straight in the middle, like it was. I missed it because of all the bushes and stuff. He gets away. I believe in my head. I keep losing them like that. More come after me. I'm just trying my best not to die right now. I get some free meat, which is great, because red meat is great. Red meat is one of the best things to fill up your hunger bar in the game, if not the best thing. Well, raw thing, I have to say, not things to put in your meals that will fill you up. Red meat is up there. Find another boar just chilling. I try to hit him. I can't. I manage to play this game sometimes. I crouch and I manage to hit him. It tries to kill it. I am honestly shocked by the fact that by this point I still haven't died. When I first played this game, my first save, I was very susceptible of dying. The pig gives me a slip. I cannot find him. I cannot kill him. I find another one. I get some more meat for me, and good go. But that wasn't enough to kill it. I tried to give him some sleep by using the bushes. He tries to attack me. Misses. I hit him one more time. And finally got him. So little by little my hunter instincts are coming. I am learning to throw the weapon better, and trust me, I could not hit that weapon whatsoever before, so I'm doing my best. I got some more peaks because I am trying to heal. I have been dying pretty much. Healing in Vintage Story, you either use healing items or you don't heal at all. This guy just kind of sneaks up on me. I don't know if I was speaking some heat. Healing in Vintage Story, you either use healing items or you don't heal up at all. So reminder that I'm healing 125% faster, so not 125, man, I'm healing 25% faster than the default rate. In Minecraft, if you are full hunger, you are full HP in like 5 seconds. That doesn't take that much long at all, especially nowadays. They buffed that. In Vintage Story, if you are below 75 or 70%, I don't remember. If you're low on your satisfaction, your hunger bar, you do not get a lot of healing passively. And even if you are up there, the game takes a lot of your hunger just to heal you faster. You can use a variety of ways to heal yourself faster, but as I am not pressed right now for health, I did not decide to worry about it. I actually have a mod that has to do with respawns, and it is bad respawn. By default on Vintage Story, there is another way to reset your spawn, or set your spawn, and you can have the settings you can set how many times. I believe by default it sets your spawns 10 times when you use that item. It's a consumable. And I right now don't have any of that, so I can't set my spawn over here. If I spawn, I will spawn. If I die, I will respawn back all the way to where I first spawned when I started this world, which is as you can see by the fact that when I was walking pretty much just straight south and it was dark, and not very close to here. Not very far from here either. I can do it if I just run. I can probably make it, but annoying. And if I find any bears or any wolves along the way, that'll probably be the end of me. So I finally get my cooking pot set up. I decide to make, obviously, with the meat, which is a great source of food. I take some of the peat I made, and I finally feel like I'm situated. I finally feel like I can survive here without too much trouble. I don't have to worry that much about food constantly, but right now all my food is still spoiling on the default rate, which is not very good. Food does not last a whole lot. Again, I make sure to make some more pelts because I'm gonna need some more backpacks. And there's other uses for pelts. Not a lot of them. I also made a storage thing there. I ended up thinking of how I'm gonna move this, and as I just told you, I'm my own hate watcher because what the fuck I'm doing, just put it down somewhere. I try to put it on top of the pelt, which obviously doesn't work, dumbass. But then I put it back where it was before. I was like, wait a second, no, I don't want it over there. There you go. And then I put the pelts down. And none of that was necessary, but I did it anyway. The clay storage things are great because they actually work to preserve your food. They spoil a little bit slower on it, especially the grains. The grains slow down a lot. The grains and vegetables can last through many months in game. Meat, unfortunately, still spoils very fast no matter what. You have to use another preservation method. Either you salt it or smoke it or something else, and usually cooking it is the way to go. You got meat, you should probably be cooking it. Right now I'm just wandering around. I'm gonna get some more clay because I do need more clay things. Yeah. I bet that hurt to watch, right? Don't worry, I get them both. I just cut out me cutting up some clay and I realized that my food is not ready yet even though I'm hungry. So I just have to put another peat in just to make sure that it finishes cooking. And bring some more food, some more stuff to put it down here. The storage space is not a lot with reeds and that, but I finally get my first meal and look at this. From struggling to fill that bar to pretty much filling it in one go, and I made 6 servings I believe, so I have six meals like that, which is incredibly good. This guy is still alone over here, sadly. I don't want to fire him alone. I want to get more stuff to fire with him. So right now I'm just gonna be focusing on the things. I don't need that extra bow. As I'm out there, I also know that I need some ropes. So I am getting those vines. They're very useful. You can make ropes out of cattails, but you need ropes for a lot of things, and those things usually they only look good. You can only use them for decoration and ropes. So your call what you want them to be. I'm using them for ropes because I am going to need ropes. And I'm going to need ropes for ladders. Right now, I am tired of that basement looking the way it is. I'm tired to bumping my head going up and down the basement. It looks stupid. It is not center. It's just odd. So I am just going to get rid of it. I'm going to make an actual ladder so I can get down there without it looking so off-puttish. And once the basement look a little more amicable, and I still have a leftover thing, I just put it there just to look good. I try to put the other ladder down. I also fixed this weird hole over there. I try to put the other ladder down there. It doesn't fit because the ladder is down there, so I end up putting it under the window instead. I didn't need to put it there, but it's there now, so. I also don't realize this entire time that I have the sharpening thing. The whetstone has been in my hand for a couple minutes and I have not realized that fact. I'm going to continue not realize that until a lot later. And in Vintage Story, when you're holding an item like this, you actually use more hunger. So it's a little silly, I feel, how much hunger it uses. But it's like 20% extra hunger. I finally managed to realize that everything. And I decided to expand the house a little bit. I didn't realize how much I could have expanded the house. Probably shouldn't have cut so much, but at this time I'm not editing all that back. And I made myself, I was making myself a little storage area. A little 3x3 storage area. I was going to put the entrance outside, but then I decided I'm going to put it inside instead. So I put the walls that I took down back here. The block type is a little bit different than the walls I usually use. You can, with Rainbow Earth, you can have a couple different patterns, and I use this specific pattern usually for the floors, and the specific pattern usually for the ceiling. So I took it down because it wasn't wrong. And then with storages like this, with cellars, you want to have as little light as possible. You can, a lot of people think you have to make it underground. You don't really want, you don't really need to make it underground so long as no natural light gets in there. You're fine. Except that the doors I can make right now, which is just a flimsy one, sucks for that. And this is the best I can do. So there's an actual alternative to it, which I learned thanks to another YouTuber. His name something pirate. You probably see him if you're looking for vintage story videos. You can actually just put the haystacks in here and look at that. The top left, you can see that this counts as a cellar now, and that makes all my food rot a lot slower. So when I want to get out or get in, I just take those down. It takes like 2 seconds to break them and I put them back, which is better than having a door that sometimes breaks and sometimes doesn't. Trust me, having a full inventory and you interact with the door and it breaks, it sucks balls. So I don't want to have to deal with that, and so I won't. The haystack actually even offers better seal than even a wood door would, because it's a full block and it works for isolation like that. Oh yeah, I decided finally I had enough of that fire pit being there and looking ugly on the dirt block. So I decided to move the fire pit down here with all the other fire stuff. I don't really care if it catches on fire, and then I realized, well, the time is up. It's time to stop. It, and I stopped exactly at midnight for once. Yay for me. It's time to say goodbye to my one day at a time challenge for another 24 hours in real life. After spending the majority of those first few days just really setting up a base, it became obvious that my temporary shelter is probably going to become somewhat of a more permanent shelter than I probably expected. As I log in for this next day, I already have a goal in mind from the start. I want to probably still set up the farm to be a little bit safer. Right now, everything's just kind of exposed, and I know that something like raccoons and stuff can steal your crops and stuff. And then you have, well, then I decided I have this one bowl. I'm gonna make a jug. I'm gonna make another cooking pot, and I'm gonna make a crucible, which I will need soon if I'm planning to get any copper soon, which I do. I should have also set up for the charcoal and stuff, but I didn't think I was that far ahead at that point. My inventory management has always been just trash this entire series. I apologize to anyone that I offend with this. I try my best to keep the refreshing the torches too, because they burn out after 48 hours if you just leave them. If you replace them, they actually go back, so you can just keep replace them every day, and they're golden. They can keep going, but you have to replace them, or you need one of those torch holders. If you have a torch holder, you can keep a torch light at all times. It also doesn't burn out on your inventory, so it's good to have it on yourself. I count my blessings and I realize I haven't died at all in this run, which is incredible. And I have to come to the terms with I have to actually set my spawn point here. I almost get got by a spider who just fucking vanishes up in the sky. And since I have a mod that actually lets me reset my spawn point with a bed, I decided to make the most basic of all the bed types in the game, the hay bed. I don't want to waste any time, but just the fact that I can set my spawn here is worth it. And to be honest, it's not like I'm doing a whole lot outside during the nighttime anyway. My animals that I've managed to trap there, thankfully, they have been there. It's only a male. It's only 2 males. I go back double back to check. I got a boar and a male rabbit. Or unfortunately, nothing else I can do in there. So I decided to just go to just build around the fence that I was talking about. And since I'm not really good at building and it's very basic and it's very boring, I decided to, rather than just jump cut to it being done, I decided to keep it all in and just speed up the footage for you guys. I don't know if you prefer me speeding up footage like this, or if you prefer me leaving it out altogether, or if you just would rather the video be longer. I feel like the video is already long enough. I don't know who is going to watch this. I don't even have any public in mind. I'm making this for myself. So, oh yeah, and by the way, this sharpening noise is just so loud. And it feels like the axes are the ones that like you need to be sharpened the most. Every time I use an axe, I feel like I need to sharpen it like 20 fucking times over anything else. But I need the fences, the most basic type of fence you can make, just so I can get my bearings here, just so my farm. I had to also remove some dirt because a fence is pretty useless if you can just jump over it, right? I still left some of it. I believe like some places you can still probably jump over it, but I don't think any wild animals would, and I don't think most enemies would either. I'm just leaving it mostly for me, but I remove a good amount of the fences you can jump over. Like I took the dirt a lot around it, and in the side there, instead of making it, instead of digging more, I just made it double fenced. Just put fences on top of fences instead. I'm getting a lot of peat from that. I also put a little fence in front of my house because, my house, the unfortunate thing about building is, this building specifically, is that I made this house a little bit lopsided. The entrance is not exactly dead center from the outside, and it looks a little off now that there's a cellar over there. But it's not the worst. I decided to go outside, and then there's already bone guys waiting for me just to step out. I jump inside of my own thing like a dummy. Fortunately, I managed to get out and take that down before they got out. I'm gonna keep them trapped over there. As I explore more, spider just surprised me while I'm going to go get clay. I run away. I don't know if I fight or run away. I don't know how many enemies are behind me, so eventually I fall into the water and now it's completely pitch darkness. I run, I'm trying to run, but I can't really see. I hear the spider crawling on the ground and I decide to make a break for it. Just leg it. I see the lights from my house and I just decided, well, thankfully I put this there, so I'm prepared for this. I made myself a mace. Maces do blunt damage, and blunt damage is better against those types of enemies, at least if you have the CombatEvolve mod. They are resistant to slashing, they're resistant to piercing. Not a whole lot of resistance because those are surface ones. But the enemies, the harder the enemy gets, those night terrors or whatever, the more blunt damage will do to them because they don't have any resistance to it. But if you try to fight a bear, do not use blunt damage because they are very resistant to blunt damage. I found some more high quality soil or high fertility soil, and that helps me a lot because I can expand my farm even more now. And I just spent a lot of time improving my farm. While I was playing the game, I did not hear those noises you're hearing right now of the enemies. I literally did not hear those, I don't believe. I was listening to music, I'm pretty sure, and they just kind of sneaked up on me. But what sneaked up on me even further is this right here. Now that did a lot of damage to me, and not only to my character, it did a lot of psychological damage to me because I did not hear anything. Even on the footage, I couldn't tell what hit me. I don't think it was one of the bolt-horn guys. I think it was just... So I just straight up ran to the dark, running away because I was afraid it was the bear or something. I didn't even take my light. I tried to run away back home, just abandon my torch, but I couldn't. I got stuck on like bush or something. So I ran back for the torch, just ran like hell, like try to survive. And once again, I escaped the brush with that, somehow alive to tell another, like, alive to live another day. And it's crazy because this is like, I come back, it's already midnight, I gotta get out. It's crazy that this happened so many times. Next day I come back, I am still wounded, trying to lick my wounds over here. Most of the other day was spent improving the farm, changing the farm. I brought the high soil, but I never used it. So today the plan is to use that, and today the plan is to finally get the backpack. As I noticed, some pelts are already ready. Unfortunately, I realized that my auto marker mod was not set up properly. I was looking at my bindings, and I realized I do have to set it up. So I spent some time setting it up. Mods like this, I feel like functionality like this should just be in the game. There are a few things that speed up your marking, but I don't know. I'm perfectly happy with that being a mod, but I would also like it in the game if it was optional. I know a lot of things in the game are optional. Even having a map at all is optional, which I think is cool. The more customizable the game is, the more you can play it the way you want. I'll do some more plate work, and I'll do some more work on the farm with the dirt I got. And just because I'm kind of just building, I don't know if I should include this or should just let it stay the way I built it. I'm just trying to leave enough space for everything to get this full water. Just keep the water block in there. I know if I take that off, that blocking over there is not a real inner block, so if I put it in there, it's gonna beat it up. So I just don't. I think it works on diagonals, I'm pretty sure it does, but I didn't want to bet and gamble on it, so I just didn't do it. I didn't need to do it like this, I did it like this, I didn't need to. I'm deciding on a weird part, and at first I tried to leave like 2 blocks of water in the middle or something. I didn't need to do any of this, I was just trying to put it down. I could have done it way faster. I could just take in those water blocks, put dirt in there. It wouldn't matter at all. Instead I chose to skip them. And if this looks agonizingly slow for you, and you're wondering if I am a little special, don't worry. I'm sure I'm special for something. This is what I was talking about. Like, if you actually watch me play those spaces in real time, it also would feel like this. Like, I'm wasting your time. Or wasting me. I don't know. Maybe you want your time wasted, and that's why you're watching it. If it's not just me watching it, which I expect it to be just me. But in case this reaches an audience somehow, and uses as a resurgence, or if the gods of YouTube, the blessings of my channel, they give recommendation to a bunch of people for no reason, you're not welcome. And if you made it this far, you're crazy. It's still pretty early in the day when I started doing these and kind of attacking me. And it sucks ass, but I just go back home, try to get my weapon, or just hunt the enemy. I kind of pace around a lot, and once I do that, I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Here I finally speed up a little bit the video for save anyone's time. I don't know if you guys prefer it sped up or not. I kind of prefer it to have sped up, but just cut it out, but to just leave it there, using like 20 minutes of the video, just to planting vegetables, breaking some things for sticks, putting more fences. Some more dirt so they can jump over. Pretty sure your player can jump over that pretty easily, but another rabbit joined the fray. Sadly, they were both male, and because they were both male, they didn't both need to be alive. So I started trying to kill just one of them very carefully, but obviously I was doing a very poor job. And finally I hit one. And the pigs tried to push it away from me. Actually, lose it finally. And I got some small. I also realized that I'm probably gonna need a shark sooner or later, so I started digging it up. This guy came to bother me. I take care of him, but he distracted me enough that I actually don't even think about pulling up the perfect kill. I just kind of finished the shape I was going for, just leave it there. And I come back some other time to do the charcoal stuff. I wasn't going to do the charcoal now anyway, but I really at least remember to do it better. For now, it's going to be there like that. After firing all up and a lot of inventory management, I come back and I realize, well, it's time to upgrade my inventory so I can have even more inventory problems with more stuff. The annoying things about those games is that if you take off one of your pieces of inventory, like the basket or anything, and you don't think it beforehand, then it's just gonna stay there. Thankfully, I learned earlier in my multiplayer thing that I can actually break those baskets for meats, which allows me to make another one instead of me being just a little short. But I throw everything down and then I move, so I make sure that those baskets are empty before I equip something else. A lot of enemies, I can hear them. And as always, they struggle with inventory management. I consider even sleeping to just move the place along, but well, the day is over, and so it's my day. I'm 4 days in, and this is the start of my 5th one. Right away, I remember that I made some backpacks, and I checked what's going on downstairs. I have more pelts, I believe. I also realized I get stuck on the ladder sometimes. When those pelts are removed and I'm not going to happen anymore, I decided to make myself a naval, and you can see me doing the autocomplete and the manual combination. because the autocomplete is just so slow, but it's a little bit of a hassle to do all the crafting. And once again, I sped it up because who wants to watch me doing all this little by little, or slowly, one box at a time. I make some crock pots, and the ammo is ready, so when I actually get to the metal, you can just get on with it and just move on. I notice things that I don't like, where there's so many in my head. Now that it's actually bright enough that I can actually see outside, I decide to go and tell them to stop that. So that I don't appreciate them and my food and starting my soon-to-be food. Thankfully, both my rabbit and my horse seem to be perfectly fine with the runnings around. They haven't done any damage. Be careful because you draw enemies on all tracks, but I forget to roll the rabbit too, so good for you. And if you get a nice double kill because they goof up, and then I get them out of there, and everyone's safe. They need to see another day. And while I go out wandering again, soon I find this pitch black zone of nothing really in the map. And it doesn't show up in the map as anything here. There's no structure to do a shadow or anything. It's just pitch black in here for no reason. When I start doing the sky, it darkens up. I don't think that's intended. I think that's unintended. I start to see some enemies spawning there, but I believe this is from some mod I have. I can even use torches when you like me, what if it's not like the bug from the area or anything, I just generated a weird. So I decided to kind of get away from this area right now. Well, I first am pressed for cattails, so I want to use those cattails, I don't harvest cattails. I decided to get them, and when I look back, I noticed there's a lot of stuff spawning over there. I don't want to be around you very long, so. But I will come back and try to see what's up in this area later. For now, though, I just go back, get my plate prepared. I have two more storage vessels. I can expand my cellar a little bit. It's a pretty base cellar, and the only function is to help me with storage and to keep my food. It doesn't need to do way more than that. I need more sticks. If you play this game, you realize that you're in a perpetual race to get more sticks. There's only really two stages of this game, where you need sticks and where you need a lot of sticks, and where you don't need sticks at all. And when you don't need sticks at all is when you have iron tools and stuff, and you're just only using sticks for tools and stuff. When you're making anything that takes sticks, fences, ladders, you soon see how fast to do run through your reserve. But while you're not using them at all, you stock up for like 100 easily. Anyway, I ended up finding some more high quality soil, and I go there and dig it up. No questions asked, because I need more farm stuff. It doesn't come for free, and it doesn't come cheap, so whatever high quality soil I can use. And again, it's a lot easier to find that thanks to the mod I have, that puts particle effects on high quality soil. So I don't feel bad for having them. If it's not your taste, you can change the mod. I personally only got this mod for the resin. I actually got this mod to be able to spot resin with the odds of dripping effect to the resin, which I think is very nice, and you should just be vanilla, so you can see it even if you're not looking exactly for that block. It's kind of crazy that vanilla resin only shows from one side of the block, and it can be like all the way up. Anyway, I'm talking on the board, next to the board. My inventory is completely filled, so I eat up the last meal I had on that bowl, and I realized that sooner or later I'm gonna need a light source that can be used underwater, because I usually dig using a bucket if I can. So since that's the case, I decided to just use the fact that we get from this. Instead of putting on my inventory, I just create an element right here. And bam, I have other bowls at home, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Come back, we spend the farm. Now it's actually fast this time, so it doesn't cause another onerism for the viewers and myself. I also, while I was out, I got a lot of cattails. I brought their stumps over, so I didn't bring them off, so I go over to a nearby lake and I get even more. My goal is to move them nearby so I can get cattails whenever I need them, and I don't have to keep going on. I got one or two just to remember if we're just thatch that they made. Yep, it's just thatch, it's just for the roofs and stuff. This is just a lot of firing. Like most of the stuff, if you've seen a big jump on time, it's just stuff like this. Me getting resources, getting ready for the day. And then I realize it's almost time, and I just run home like hell to home, so I don't have to log out in the middle of nowhere. When I come back home, I can put my stuff back best I can, and make sure to put that there so it won't burn out. Because I keep forgetting to open that. I don't open that very often. Only when I have to cook, and I've still been eating this thing that I made like 2 days ago because it's just so good. It has so much meat on it. It gives a lot of satiety. And then the time comes, and it's another day. And this brings me to the 7th day. This is the full week now, and the last day on this video. I'm gonna try to keep them week by week because I might even maybe do 1 or 2 days at a time. Those videos get a lot longer than I expected, and I was kind of expecting to edit them real quick once a week, and I'll be able to do it. This ended up taking many more hours than I expected. Not ideal. I cook up some more clay stuff, and nothing much to comment in there. No matter what, I'm gonna have to be cooking more and more clay. Take the stuff that I took the last night, and last day, because if you've been looking at the real time, you see that I don't play this at night, and I just bring them over there. I find some more seeds, and while I'm gathering, something interesting catches my eye. I see a creature that is not very friendly. It's a bear, and it's now chasing me. Fortunately, I was on my way to one of the lakes that I found, and that I was collecting all the reeds from. And in that case, the bear doesn't really stand much of a chance. If you're near water, bears are not much of a threat, because you can just do this. You just move faster on the water than they do, and you can just keep stabbing them until they're dead. Again, bears have very high blunt resistance if you're playing with the Combat Evolved mod, which I imagine a lot of people are. Also, another feature of the mod, if you don't know, is that there are actually body shots and headshots and stuff like that, so try always to aim for the face. It makes a difference. While I'm exploring some more, I've come across this. I see meteor iron in there, but that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in this monument. It's just a random monument, probably from BetterRuins. It's just a cross. There doesn't seem to be any cracked vessels or anything around it, as far as I can tell, so I'll mark it anyway. Because I mean, you find something like this, you want to mark it, right? I also got this mod to add more map icons, and I'm completely lost. I've not used them at all. I'm getting used to them little by little. But I'm trying my best. Trying my best over there. As I'm exploring a little further, I see this. This is a beautiful landscape with all those mountains over here and a little bit of bitty lake over there. That would be a really nice spot for a base. However, sadly, the darkness is encroaching on it. It's right there. Even though it didn't look like it, even though it didn't look like it was gonna be there when I first looked, it was just there. So I decided to use I looked up and I looked at console command for regenerating this chunk. And by regenerating those chunks, it actually works fine. I didn't want to regenerate the chunks near my house because if you regenerate a chunk, it actually obviously destroy everything that isn't natural to that chunk. So I got rid of the black area or the pitch black area by regenerating those chunks. Everything works out pretty fine. Thankfully, I don't lose any of my house. I made a backup just in case. Everything over there is just fine. It's very stormy, very rainy here. I never really started the farm on the areas, but on the soil I put down, so I go back and do that. I make sure to transform oil up my bear pelt because I want that pelt to make me some new pieces of armor. The bear armor, I don't know if it's worth it or not, but I like crafting it just because, well, I'm completely on the nude. Any piece of warmth I can get, it's worth it, I feel. And the bear armor is one of the few pieces of armor in the game that actually gives you a little bit of warmth. So I can get both the chest plate and the head on that piece, and I believe I will. I don't think I'm gonna get the. As yet, I haven't decided if I'm gonna get the legs or not. I probably won't. It's a big penalty for walking speed for the legs, and not much of a protection I think. I put my stuff, and then I come here to do a little fishing trip. You can make, thanks to the survival mod, you can do stakes with sticks, and those stakes can be planted on soil like that, and you can make fish traps with them, or you can put a line between them, and then you can run the line through a few sets of things. I counted how many it would take, and then I check how much rope I have. You don't even have to use rope. You can use for those cordage. I'm actually not sure how you pronounce it. It's not extremely obvious by now. English is not my first language, and I try my best, but sometimes stuff like this set up. Anyway, I don't have enough. I think I'm one off, so I use it a little bit, and it works just fine next time. You just have to line them up, and as long as they line it up and you have enough cordage, they just connect automatically. You just have to right click them in the right direction. I'll make some hooks, and anytime I can come back here, I've seen fish already in this little pond. The other ones I have not seen any fish, so I can get to this one, and I can put some hook. Anytime I want to check if I got any fish, like anything, some extra food, I just come back here and check the fish. This was on my multiplayer server. This was a very important source of food, because even though this is not non-replenishable, like even though it's not sustainable, it's very good to have. The fish you get, if you can like cut them up with a knife in your inventory, and you can actually get like fish eggs you can throw back into the water to replenish the thing. If you have too much fish in one spot, the fish just stop biting after a while, and then it takes a little while for them to replenish. So don't go too hard on one spot. Just kind of spread your line everywhere, and you'll be fine. I believe this thing considers chunks. Chunks have their own fish population and whatnot, so Just spread your fishing lines through multiple chunks and you'll be fine. As I go back there, I never checked if I can actually take those, and I actually can. I can take those boards just fine. I also made it so I can take clutter as one of the settings I set up that I never talked about. If clutter is normally when you find clutter or ruins like this, the clutter things say you need glue to fix it so it won't break. I made it so I can just break whatever and I'll be able to take it, just so it's a little easier for me if I want to decorate. I don't usually take decorations. Like as you can tell, I probably am not very efficient on my inventory, and I always carry way more than I need everywhere. But I do decide to take some crates. I'm not gonna use the board still, but I have found crates multiple times in like vanilla ruins, and I feel like using crates is not the issue. I feel like using crates is fine. I've been having a lot of inventory issues, so using a couple crates is gonna be a lot. It's gonna be very helpful. A lot out of my mind, honestly. So I leave those boards over there. I come in here. I find saddle and irrigation. Irrigation is gonna be nice when I set up more farms, more sophisticated farms. But for now, it's not very useful. I find myself also projecting like a schematic. It allows me to make some lanterns or some lamps really, and then I realize they have bombs in here. They just straight up have bombs in here. I've never used those bombs. I never even like use it on like creative or anything. I just never touched those bombs before, but they are here, and I probably will try them sometime, but not right now. Once again, I decided against just taking them, and I'm just gonna leave them be for a little while longer. I come back and I set up those crates. One of the first things I do. It really bothered me to have facing the wrong way like this. And usually when I have crates like this, I always set up like a bone crate, a stick crate, and if I can, a flax crate, because I usually want to produce a lot of flax. And a clay crate or peat crate, those things are usually go in crates rather than stacks. I like stacking my firewood, because firewood, I feel like having firewood looks good. Having things take physical space just look better than them being shoved into an inventory space. That's why I like crates so much. They are both they they serve both functions of being taking up physical space and being extremely efficient in storage. It just makes sense, right? A crate is a thing that is efficient to store stuff. And then that is the ending for my last day. This has been a very enjoyable playthrough. You have only so much time to make do, and if you watch all this, you're crazy. Thank you.